While everyone has been obsessing over Bitcoin's wild price swings, China is winning the game with a digital currency, which is almost ready to dethrone the US dollar. Well, that's Digital Yuan, China's state-backed online money. Right now, 260 million people are already using the Digital Yuan. And while we're still debating whether crypto is the future or a bubble, China has literally processed $250 billion in real transactions with its Digital Yuan. In the next few minutes, I'll explain to you in simple words how the Digital Yuan works, why governments and banks are scrambling, and how it's causing the global financial power shift. Roll the footage, because this is the single financial revolution you can't afford to ignore. But before I begin, please like and subscribe. Section 1. What is China's Digital Yuan and how does it work? Okay, so here's the deal. The Digital Yuan is basically China's official money, but fully online. Like, it's backed by China's central bank, which means it's as real as cash, just without the paper. You might hear people call it ECNY, ERMB, or Digital Currency Electronic Payment. Yeah, weird names, but they all just mean China's digital version of money, or China's CBDC. Think of it like the money in your bank app, but this time, the government made it, controls it, and can send it straight to your phone with no middlemen. It's like cash for the TikTok era, fast, trackable, and 100% digital. You can also think of it like using Venmo, PayPal, or even your bank app to send your money, but that takes a lot of time, right? For example, your bank talks to their bank, payment processors take their cut, and somewhere in that chain, someone's keeping track of who owes what. But with Digital Yuan, it is completely different, because there are no middlemen, no payment processors taking fees, and no banks acting as gatekeepers. It's just the government-backed digital money flowing directly from person to person. And seriously, it sounds great. Adding to your surprise, Digital Yuan has the same value and status as physical yuan banknotes and coins. And what makes it revolutionary is that it combines the trust and stability of traditional government-issued money with the convenience and efficiency of digital payments. Now let's check how it works. So, Digital Yuan operates on a two-tier system, quite different from both traditional banking and cryptocurrencies. Tier 1 is when the People's Bank of China issues Digital Yuan to authorized commercial banks and payment service providers. These institutions hold Digital Yuan reserves, similar to how they hold physical cash reserves, whereas the Tier 2 involves regular citizens and businesses to get their Digital Yuan through these authorized institutions, like banks, payment apps, and financial service providers. That means you can't go directly to the central bank to get Digital Yuan. But here's what makes Yuan a very different leading digital currency. Section 2. What makes Digital Yuan different? So, Digital Yuan is completely different from blockchain-based cryptocurrencies that rely on distributed networks of computers to validate transactions. The Digital Yuan uses a more centralized but efficient system. The Public Bank of China maintains the master ledger, while authorized institutions handle day-to-day operations. This architecture allows you faster transaction processing compared to cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, which can take minutes or even hours to confirm transactions. And trust me, these Digital Yuan transactions are nearly instantaneous, similar to traditional digital payments without any intermediary fees. The system also incorporates advanced security features, including digital signatures and encryption, that make it extremely difficult to counterfeit or hack, providing security advantages over both physical cash and traditional digital payments. The other amazing thing about the Digital Yuan is its offline capability. This allows it to work without an internet connection through near-field communication technology, allowing users to make payments even in remote areas or during network outages. This is something traditional digital payments and even most cryptocurrencies can't do. What makes Digital Yuan even more impressive is how fast it's evolving. I mean, most of the countries are still forming committees to discuss, maybe possibly considering digital currencies. But China has rolled this out across 17 provincial regions, and possibly by the end of 2025, the Digital Yuan will be operational in 29 cities across China. And here's the most interesting part. Major tech giants such as JD.com and Ant Group are now pushing China's central bank to authorize offshore yuan-backed stablecoins, which are basically crypto tokens pegged one-to-one to the yuan, initially launching in Hong Kong. Did you notice how China is pushing the digital yuan to counter the dominance of US dollar stablecoins and promote the yuan in international commerce? Meanwhile, China has expanded its cross-border payment network with CIPS 2.0, the upgraded cross-border interbank payment system powered by the digital yuan. It's now active across 16 countries in Asia and the Middle East and has already processed transactions in under 8 seconds for nominal fees. Do you see how dramatically the digital yuan is outpacing SWIFT, which can take days and charge up to 5% per payment? But honestly, the real question is the digital yuan really just about making transactions smoother? Well, I don't think so. Here's another perspective. Section 3. The global shift of power. The reality is that yuan is fundamentally changing who controls the global financial system. So basically, this is about power. Even the numbers are evidence of China's digital yuan dominance. As of June 2024, China has processed $982 billion in digital yuan transactions. That's nearly 4 times what they had processed just a year earlier. The digital yuan showed 630% growth in 2023, making it one of the fastest growing payment systems in the world. Just give it a thought that while you make an international payment, buy something online from another country, or even when your favorite local restaurant pays their international supplier, that money probably flows through the US dollar system at some point. Banks use SWIFT, a messaging system that's basically controlled by the US and its allies, to finally get your payments processed. That eventually signifies the dollar's dominance. With digital yuan, China is making a clear statement. We don't want to play by rules that reflect US dominance. Now you understand why that's not just a new payment method, but a potential alternative to the entire global financial infrastructure that's been dominated by the West for decades. Imagine if you could pay for trade deals, construction projects, and international investments using China's digital yuan instead of having to convert everything through US dollars. This isn't some future plan, it's already happening. 6 ASEAN countries, including Malaysia and Singapore, have officially added China's currency, the RMB, to their foreign exchange reserves. That means they're literally storing China's money instead of dollars. And Thailand also just made history by settling their first oil trade using the digital yuan, no dollars involved. This is China quietly rewiring global trade, one deal at a time. Doesn't it seem like the US dollar has been the DJ at the global money party for decades, and now Xi Jinping shows up with the digital yuan and says, "All right, stop this freaking old song, I'll play my version." And suddenly, everyone's dancing to a very different rhythm. But definitely this is just one side of the story. Section 4. The privacy and control concerns. All right, let's talk about the real concerns. Because this story isn't all sunshine and revolutionary financial technology. China's digital yuan comes with some serious privacy implications that would make you think about it. See, China's digital yuan claims the agenda of preventing money laundering and tax evasion, and honestly that makes sense. But what's under the carpet is that this digital system does have massive problems with illicit flows. It can investigate suspicious transactions and has real-time visibility into every purchase your citizens make. And the bigger concern is the dissenting political freedom. We've already seen how China uses technology for social control, the social credit system, surveillance cameras with facial recognition, and internet censorship. And now the digital yuan just adds another layer to that ecosystem. Imagine if your government could see that you donated to a cause they didn't like, or visited a bookstore that sells banned books, or even just met friends at a location they consider suspicious. It would be alarming if other countries adopt similar systems, or if the digital yuan becomes widely used internationally. We could witness a massive shift of power and relationship between China and the US. Now the question we need to ask is, are we willing to trade financial privacy for financial efficiency? And more importantly, once we make that trade, can we ever go back? Section 5. What this means for the world. So you're probably wondering, this is all interesting, but what does it actually mean for me? Great question. Even if you never touch a digital yuan in your life, this technology is going to impact your financial future in ways you might not expect. First, let's talk about the US dollar. For decades, the dollar has been the world's reserve currency, which basically means it's the currency everyone trusts for international trade. This gives the US enormous power. We can print money and export inflation. impose sanctions that actually matter, and benefit from everyone needing dollars to do business globally. But if China succeeds in creating a viable alternative, that changes everything. If the digital yuan becomes widely adopted, we could see what economists call a bifurcated global financial system. Think of it like having two internets, one controlled by the US and its allies, and another controlled by China and its partners. This could lead to higher costs for international trade, more currency instability, and potentially make your investments more volatile as markets adapt to this new reality. Now, this would be really interesting for investors, because this shift could create enormous opportunities. Countries adopting the digital yuan might see their economies become more closely tied to China's, potentially affecting everything from commodity prices to stock market performance. And companies that position themselves to work with both systems, they could be the big winners. Also, don't sleep on the technology itself. The innovations China is pioneering, like offline transactions, programmable money, and instant cross-border payments, are going to influence how digital currencies could be developed everywhere. The Federal Reserve is already studying China's approach for America's potential digital dollar, and the European Central Bank is doing the same for a digital euro. It would be really interesting to see how this digital money agenda would operate in the future. Section 6. A cashless future. Now, there is a global buzz, and other countries aren't just sitting around watching China revolutionize money. They're scrambling to catch up, and the race is heating up fast. More than 20 countries, including powerhouses like Japan, Australia, and India, have launched their own CBDC pilot programs. But the thing is, they're all playing catch-up to China's 3-year head start. The United States is in a particularly tricky position. On one hand, they want to maintain the dollar's dominance and can't let China run away with digital currency leadership. On the other hand, Americans are notoriously privacy conscious, and the idea of the government tracking every transaction makes people nervous. It's like trying to build a sports car while wearing a straitjacket. Technically possible, but not exactly ideal conditions. Europe is taking a different approach, focusing on privacy and democratic oversight, but it's moving slowly. The UK and Australia are exploring options, but they're still years away from anything resembling China's scale. Meanwhile, countries that are already economically aligned with China, think many Belt and Road Initiative partners, are looking at the digital yuan as a way to reduce their dependence on Western financial systems. As a result, we're potentially heading towards a world where your choice of digital currency becomes a geopolitical statement. Use the digital dollar? You're in the Western sphere? Use the digital yuan? You're in China's sphere. Use the digital euro? You're trying to stay neutral. It's like the Cold War, but fought with code instead of missiles. Trust me, this is just the beginning of a new cashless era. They're not just changing how people pay. Instead, they're potentially pushing us towards the end of paper money. I have made a separate video on this matter. If you want to watch that, I have dropped the link in the description. Moving on. Another question is whether the rest of the world can adapt fast enough to stay relevant in this new landscape. So, what does this mean for you? Stay informed, understand the implications, and maybe start thinking about how a world with multiple digital currencies might affect your investments, your career, and your financial future. China has proven itself by creating digital money that actually works at such a large scale. Now everyone else has to decide whether they want to compete, cooperate, or get left behind. And if you think China's digital yuan will succeed in challenging the US dollar's dominance, please share your comments, as I'm genuinely curious about what you think. And if you want to know more about the digital shift, hit that like button and subscribe, because we're just getting started with these game-changing financial stories that actually matter. Let's wait and see how this story unfolds together. Thanks for watching.